Hey, welcome to Write More Light. My name is Sarah, and this is a web series from the Midwest Writing Center. If this is your first Write More Light video, I'm going to tell you how it goes. Um, Sometimes we do interviews, sometimes I talk about a topic. Today is a solo day for me, so what you can expect is I'm going to talk about the topic. Today we're going to talk about open mics. Then I'll give updates from the Midwest Writing Center and following that, a free write prompt. So buckle in. Now, I think, it might seem silly to do a whole video on open mics, but from what I can tell, they fell out of fashion for a long time and they're coming up again. And so because I think they're worth our time as artists, I thought I'd do a video on it with a summary of what they are, what you can expect, how to participate, why they exist, and where you can find them. Um, Most people who haven't been to an open mic, I found this by talking to normies, they seem to expect like a beatnik and bongo situation and lots of like black clothing and berets. And I can't say that won't happen, but I've never yet experienced it. And I think if I did, I would have remembered it. I would have documented it because that would have been surreal. Um, I started going to open mics as a teenager and I went to some really weird ones. But mostly awesome, sometimes both weird and awesome. Um, but I didn't see a lot at the time, and I definitely didn't see a lot in the intervening years, and I'm seeing them pop up everywhere again, which I love. Um, okay, let's go. What is an open mic? It's an opportunity for anyone to perform or try out artistic material for an audience. It's low stakes. That's really important to me, is that it's low stakes. So whatever you're performing can be in rough shape. It can be, totally perfect. You can be testing reactions or like showing off, getting back into your craft, whatever it is. It's just an open opportunity. So you can go to an open mic somewhere where you don't know anyone or bring all your friends and you work it out. Um, Usually open mics are open. Um, so that means if you have something you can perform in front of people, then you're welcome to. Sometimes, and whoever's throwing the open mic or hosting the open mic should advertise this overtly. Um, Sometimes they're only open to like one kind of performance, like just musicians or just comedians or just poets. It's not very common. Usually open means open. Um, Probably don't want to do anything illegal. Um, I hope I don't have to say that, I guess. And you should know the space. You should know the space in advance. Because I think in my experience, most open mics have smaller stages. They're not, grand theaters. So if you take up a lot of space with your performance, it could be the wrong venue for you. Um, so that's an important thing. But when we're talking about what goes at open mics, I'm talking any kind of performance. I obviously am at the Midwest Writing Center, so I'm most accustomed to literary things. Um, but music is super common, comedy is super common. You'll see a juggler now and then. Um, you can really, if you can make it a performance, it's probably welcome. Um, so here's something. Usually you expect the performance will include a microphone, right? Open mic. Um, And the idea is that the mic is up for grabs, but really it's the space that's open, the stage, the point of attention, the spotlight. So you should be welcome in that space, even if your sound isn't your number one thing. Um, yeah, do make sure you know the stage area of the space if you're going to take up a lot of space or if you pace or I'm not much of a pacer, but I want to be. I feel like that's cool. Like when I see people moving around the stage, I'm like, that person is comfortable. Um, yeah. So you just make sure, especially if you take up a lot of space, that you know what this venue is like. So what to expect at an open mic. Performers should get in for free. It's not universal, but it's the most common practice. If you're performing, you get in for free, because you are the entertainment. There'll be a sign up sheet or something to that effect. You'll be told how to sign up in advance. That should include the sign up sheet or whatever it is should include information on how much time each person is allowed. So, so that's really, really important to know. And if you don't, if you're just like showing up and you didn't know there was an open mic and your act is 8 minutes long, um, and you get 5 minutes at the open mic, you got to figure that out. But most of the time, and if they don't overtly advertise how much time each performer is allotted, ask. Because you need to know. You need to know so you're not a jerk. Um, and with that in mind, pay attention to the time allotted. If you go over your time limit, you could be kicked off stage. And you'll definitely be a lot less welcome next time. I have not seen any sort of like aggressive open mic personally, but I do know they exist. So, just, be a homie. You can also expect a wide variety of acts or genres or whatever it is because supposedly where it's supposed to be an open, welcoming situation because we're trying to get people out, we're trying to get people comfortable, we're trying to engage. So you should you should be able to expect a variety of acts or genres or performances and styles. How to participate? You just sign up. Whatever it is, wherever's hosting it, should make it clear how to sign up. Um, Usually it's a first come, first serve thing. I'm sure some people do it online. I know there are online open mics, but if you're seeing like an ad for it or you've shown up and you've found out there's an open mic, it should say how to sign up. Or you just ask someone if you're just already at the venue. Now, why to participate is really why I'm here. Uh, why? It's a low stakes situation. So you get to practice performing, and if you're involved in really any art, somebody's going to want you to perform eventually. No one is expecting perfection. So it's a really, really awesome way to get used to being on stage, get used to being in front of people, practice the way you perform your piece, because that can I think really any piece, whatever it is that you do, I'm always going to default to writing in my mind when I'm talking about this stuff. There's always going to be a dozen ways you can perform any given thing and like tones. Like I can think of songs that like their meaning changes when they're performed at different tempos. So it's a good sort of like trial run for things you're considering. And then you can get an idea of what people respond to, where you might want to change something. It feels really good to be applauded is a reason. I've never been to a situation where anybody is anything. I've never been to an open mic where anybody is rude. Um, so getting applause is going to boost your confidence about your piece and about your performance, and that is good for all of us. Even if you happen to suck at performing, confidence is going to make a huge difference in that next performance. So, um, my next why to do an open mic, I need you to bear with me. People deserve to see your work. I know it sounds cheesy or fake or whatever, that's why I said bear with me. But the thing about art is a lot of the time, I'd say even most of the time, your art wants an audience, and you might not know that. You certainly won't necessarily know it until you give it an audience. Also, you don't know who might hear it and need it, or you don't know if you really need to perform it. There's a lot that can happen to a piece when it gets an audience, and to an artist when they get an audience. And I think that it's just good for you as an artist. I do want to say something quick, like a little caveat on that. I give the same advice if you're doing a workshop, like you're workshopping a piece of writing, you're getting feedback, critique on it. You probably don't want to bring a piece that's raw. Like fresh is fine, but if you're going to get really emotionally vulnerable, it can make that experience much harder. In a workshop setting, it's going to be harder because you're not going to be able to take feedback and it hurts. Um, in an open mic setting, you're live on stage in front of people. And I think it's fine to get emotional in that setting. I even think it's sometimes very cool to get emotional in that setting, but only if you can do, like, only if you can be comfortable getting there. Only if you can come out of that experience like fine, Um, not not having a bad night afterwards. So it's something to just keep in mind anytime you've got new work that's still raw. It might not be ready to share. It might be. I'm not going to stop you, but I think it's important to keep that in mind. No. So you should definitely participate in open mics. Why do open mics exist? I did not look up the history. I want to be clear about that. I know like a little bit about the history of open mics, but I did not do research when I prepared this video. Um, Open mics are spaces for artists to meet each other, relax a little, share art. I'm never going to stop singing the praises of artists and community because there's no growing as an artist without interacting with art and with other artists. And sometimes that looks like reading or viewing or listening to or whatever art by someone else. But a lot of the time, being with artists, interacting with living artists is so generative and so inspiring and so just just good for you. Good for you and good for your art. So that's one big important reason. Plus, you're going to see there are people in your community who are like doing really cool things, and then you can make friends with them. That's a really great one for me. That I forget. It's not even on my list of reasons to go to open mics or why open mics exist. But being able to see someone do something awesome and then talk to them and they're like part of your community, because I don't know anybody who's going to drive 6 hours to go to an open mic, right? That's that's a game changer. It really can be because now you're part of this community. Now you're part of this world. Now you have friends doing things that you care about. Right. So back to why open mics exist. Because we deserve to see what other artists in our community are doing. It started as a social thing, and it can be, like I've just said, really, really beneficial to artists to get a little exposure, to make some friends, to be in an art zone. Um, Open mics exist because they're fun. They're fun to attend as an audience member. Like even if you're not performing, I mean, I think everyone should perform once in their life because it's an experience. Um, but they're fun to just watch. And it's nice to do something different, something that's not the same old, same old. Um, people have always done like oral storytelling, and had like, gatherings where people play music. All that stuff has sort of always been part of like humanity. Um, but as people started to move away from that being, move into that being like a side of who we are, we had to create space for these things. Okay. No, the next part. In the interest of full disclosure, I did not finish my research on this topic. I'm sorry, friends. I will include some of that in the caption. Where can you find open mics? Depends where you live. Um, I am today excited to promote our next open mic. The Midwest Writing Center doesn't do a lot of open mics, but we have a sort of anti-Valentine's Day open mic just about every year. Um, and it's not anti-Valentine's Day, but it's not a romantic event. We call it Local Lovers. Um, and that is Thursday, February 13th, 8 p.m. Rozz-Tox. It's part of our Spectra reading series. Um, there's a cat in my lap. Don't know if, yeah, you can see these ears. Um, so yeah, that is the next one that you should be excited about. But other orgs and other groups have them around the Quad Cities if you are in the Quad Cities. And this is what I didn't do enough research on because I know I've missed some, but Narratives QC has open mics. They Roaring Rhetoric has open mics. There's the see, I'm gonna not falter here, but um I'll list stuff in the text of the video. Uh Places you can find them if you are not here local, not depending on me to be your list of resources. Coffee shops, bars, and bookstores have open mics. Those are the traditional spaces for them. How you can find them. Local newspapers always have event sites. Always. Even like the arts and culture newspaper magazines will have them. Also social media has event pages. Um, you can search on your favorite search engine, open mic in quotes, and your town name. That should pop things up. You can also search that. Sorry, you should be searching that in those local newspaper event sites and on social media. Um, Ask at your favorite coffee shop or bar or bookstore or art gallery. Um, if they don't host them, they'll probably know where you can find one. And people asking about them are gonna make them pop up. So that's a bonus. Um, your local arts orgs should know, like me, if I had a comprehensive list in front of me. Um, yeah, so first and foremost, come to Local Lovers Thursday, February 13th, 8 p.m. at Rozz-Tox. And our sign up sheet will be there. You'll get 5 minutes, no more. And we can only accommodate acoustic sets. So there's the info. Um, I'll give you some other updates from the world of the Midwest Writing Center. We're on to this part of the video, the part where I have to open my planner. Okay, here we go. Our Young Writers Workshop is back next Tuesday online. That's February 11th for high school aged writers. It's an online group. They get to write and discuss writing with their peers. We'll do a little writing exercise. We'll talk about guidelines for giving feedback, but it's just meant to be a good, safe environment for young people to not have to answer to adults' questions. We have the same thing, but in person on Tuesday, February 18th. That's at the Midwest Writing Center. So that's the downtown Rock Island Public Library, ground floor is our office. Same setup. We do some writing prompts and then we get into workshopping. We're gonna have some some really incredible authors on Write More Light that same week. On the 18th, we will have Tatiana Shaloty-Bonet, horror author of Such Lovely Skin and the forthcoming, can't remember the title of the forthcoming book, but it has a really creepy cover. Then Jason Tanamore will be on Write More Light on the 20th, which is additionally exciting because skipping ahead to March, he will be teaching our 4-part fiction workshop. So that workshop's going to be in person. It's going to be the first 4 Saturdays of March. There are 5 Saturdays in March. The 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. Each session is on a different element of fiction writing. You can take one, you can take two, you can take three, you can take four. There's a discount for taking all four. And they are only hour and a half long sessions. So yes, that's true. 10:30 to noon at the Writing Center. If you are a arts and culture lover, the Midwest Writing Center will be at Ballet QC's next performance of Love Stories. That'll be at Galvin Fine Arts Center, which is at St. Ambrose University. On the 22nd of February, they have a evening show. 7:30 p.m. is when the show starts. I'll be there offering to, for donation, write love letters for, the date you bring to the event. We will be there as well on Sunday the 23rd, but that show is a matinee. That's at 2 p.m. We have a friend event on February 27th at the Atlas Collective. Anait Cass will be touring for her book. So toward a Swana futurity. So that's on February 27th at the Atlas Collective at 6 p.m. She's going to do a presentation on her book, a reading, a signing, and then she's going to read fortunes, which is going to be incredible. And then, very excited to tell you, she'll have a workshop here in April at the Writing Center. So you come, you meet her, you fall in love. She has a really, really incredible class that she'll be teaching with us. I think we can leave it there. I do want to tell you, remind you, get you excited for our next event in the Spectra reading series after Local Lovers. March 15th will be the release of the 2024, 2023 Foster Stall Chapbook series. Those come out after the year of the competition, so that part's hard for me. So with all this in mind, I've given you a lot. I've expressed to you that I love open mics, and now I am here to give you a writing prompt. That prompt is, I'm sorry to tell you, to put something together for an open mic. So give yourself 5 minutes, low pressure, write what comes with open mics in mind. As always, thanks for hanging out with me, and write more light into your life.